Quick message from Bald and Bonkers Network. We would like to remind everybody that certain topics of discussion may not be comfortable for all listeners. Certain viewpoints may not reflect those of our partners, sponsors, affiliates, our hosts, or that of our guests. We would like to encourage everybody to keep a respectful and open climate of discussion for all topics, no matter how disturbing they may be. So viewer discretion is advised.
Discoveries mankind has ever experienced.
And that is why we bring you the Bald and Bonkers Show.
Baby, you can get on my boat and make it rock.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We're here on Sunday again for the UFO report, and we are joined tonight by Dakota and Sherry. How are you guys doing tonight? How's things?
Good. I'm doing all right.
Well, guys, behind the scenes, we were discussing last night's technical problems that we had. That was an interesting show last night, wasn't it? Dakota?
Very.
At a place that we had all these technical issues for pet psychics.
Yeah, and it's so weird that, but I will say that pet psychic last night was unbelievably accurate.
She was amazing.
Yes. She really was. So who's all in the chat there? Bald and Bonkers Chris. I don't know who that guy could possibly be.
Oh, we got that.
We need Banham. And then we've got, who's that? DNTV. Woohoo!
Hello, DNTV. How are you? That must be in the Facebook side.
We've got Bald and Bonkers Network. That's him. We've got PWI Spiritual Investigators. I thought I'd give a kind of cool voice there, you know, and make it. But anyway, and then we've got, who's this? Alisha. Who's this here?
Michelle McFadden. That's a new one. Hello.
Hello. I don't know why I did that. There you go.
Hello, welcome.
There you go. Welcome to the show. So, guys, tonight we're going to be talking about UFO subjects. Sherry's you've got something there to show us all. We've got some pictures there, but we'd like to show you. I would like to show you the videos for this, but it's under the copyright thing. So I don't know how that would work, Dakota. Could we show the video for some of them?
I keep telling you, it would technically fall under fair use. We would be just fine.
So that's what we'll maybe do later on. We'll show you some of the videos then. And there's Raymond G. News. Raymond, you know. So, Dakota, what's happening in the UFO world this weather?
What isn't happening? Probably an easier question.
Exactly. What isn't happening? I mean, it's getting ridiculous now. Did you guys see that about Skinwalker Ranch? Who's the famous American guy? The guy that's in that is like a scientist. What's his name? He's just come.
Can't remember the name, but
you know what I'm talking about.
The energy signature.
Well, I can't remember his name either, but I know who you're on about.
He's been hired by the Pentagon to see if there's extraterrestrial life visiting the Earth.
Mm-hmm.
I kid you not. And some of the stuff that's been coming out is very, very disturbing, actually. Obviously, we know for a long time that there is such a thing as aliens, and there is such a thing as UFOs.
Oh,
But
yeah.
what's your thoughts on it, Dakota, about that energy thing you were trying to say?
Something's waking up.
Something is waking up, innit?
That's the shortest way I could possibly put it. I mean, I've been getting more reports. I've dealt with more clients who believe that they've had visitations, and because they've been following us for following me longer than we all met, they knew a lot of the same. They knew a lot of what to do in order to try to establish contact, and every single one has been getting positive hits.
The UFO reports are off the scale right now. I mean, I went through tonight. I was sitting about 3 hours ago, and I counted about 40 in the last 2 weeks in the UK, and that's the UK. I mean, Russia, Europe, China, Japan, and the United States, it's off the scale. As you say, what do you think's waking up, Dakota? What do you actually think? Do you think this is them getting ready to show themselves in scale?
Well, here's the thing. I find it funny that we have all these resources that people have criticized. The KGB book on alien races.
Yep.
There's Bob Lazar is another big one. A lot of stuff that he was talking about is coming out.
Yep.
We're getting ready for our disclosure.
Yes.
And it was supposed to be about this year when it was supposed to start happening.
Yes, that's right. What's your thoughts on this, Sherry? What do you think disclosure's coming?
I do believe that they're coming. I believe that they're preparing us for their reveal. Definitely, as you're saying, definitely a lot of sightings are going up. As Dakota said as well, there are a lot more people that are stepping forward saying that they're having experiences as well, which is pretty amazing. But all I can say is it's off the rails at the minute. It's really hard to keep up with everything because there's so much going on all over the place.
Yeah, I mean that's.
And even spiritually, like being connected with them myself. So I've been noticing changes in myself as well, like the higher energy and.
Here's an honest opinion that people in the chat's probably thinking about. Do you think, right? Say we get disclosure, we get soft disclosure. Now, say we get disclosure. Do you think it will help the Earth? Do you think it will help the Earth because of all the problems that we've got? What's your thoughts?
I don't know. I think it could go either way, to be honest. Yeah. It'll either help in some sort of way, or it's going to turn into another one of these things that the human beings seem to like to do, which is cause another sort of war sort of thing, you know?
Yeah.
If there's something that I've noticed about human beings, they find it very difficult to adjust to other energy, and especially ones like that. So I think I think it's mixed. I think some will be accepting and take on what they do, and others will be very, very funny.
So guys, listen, Sherry's got a UFO report there, but first I want to show you some photographs. Now, after we will show you the videos on this website of these supposedly craft. Now, Dakota, did you find the location of the desert one?
I have a rough idea, not 100% sure.
Right. Here, ladies and gentlemen, this is some desert. The name of it on the UFO website is the Desert Lights UFO. And this was the July the 13th, 2022. So it wasn't long ago. So I find this one fascinating. What do you think of that?
That is really cool. There'll be a lot of people that try to debunk it and things like that. It's difficult to say, really, isn't it? But it is really interesting.
What I'm thinking, right, this is what, right, it's a misty night or a misty morning, I don't know what time it was took, but there is mist, right? Now, I'm thinking the lights from above it are reflecting off the mist at the bottom, but you can actually
Yeah.
see it as like it's in the shape of like a plate. It is round.
Like a circle sort of shape, the way that the lights go around it.
What's your thoughts on this, Dakota?
The myth certainly does have enough to it to allow for reflection, having actually seen the video. We're looking possibly Eastern Russia based on the dialect of the people speaking in the original video. Also toward Belarus, that area. This would fit that climate. So, it's something definitely there. That much we can say. Exactly what? No.
Whatever it is, and I can say this, and I've looked at the video, and I've froze the video, and I've enlarged the video. It's big. It's very big.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's going to be at what, 2 football fields, 3 football fields in size?
It's definitely big, whatever it is.
Yeah. Where have been waiting for 30 years and still no disclosure law, there is not going to tell you. Who says they will have to choose? Choice. I think disclosure is coming. I think it's going to have to come because the technology that the humans have got right now is ridiculous. The space technology that we've got right now. Did you? Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. Did you see that patent that came out for the TBR-3? It's been officially released. There's a patent, a US patent out for the the Flying Triangle spaceship, the TBR-3 UFO. Yeah, and it's nuclear. It's nuclear powered.
It's a nuclear mercury-based engine. Yeah.
Yes.
Thought it was
there you go. That's a mouthful.
Before you start throwing skepticism at our way because you don't really know how to have an intelligent discussion on certain topics. When it comes to the patent process, you have to have a working model.
Yeah. Which is... Look, the government, the US government are the most sophisticated government in the world. They are the ones that spend trillions and trillions on weapons. They have got ships that can go to Mars in under 5-10 minutes. They can do all this stuff. But it's all black budget stuff, stashed away. So what's some of the questions there? Who says about? I'm just reading the chat, guys. So Dakota, do you want to show that?
Point that Congress here in the United States is starting to have meetings talking about UFOs. Well, they're starting to openly admit that they're talking about it.
Yeah.
But another thing a lot of people don't really register is that before it was starting to become a lot more public.
Yeah.
The type of people we're trying to yell at for UFO disclosure are technically just as clueless as us. Maybe they've heard rumors, but they would not have a security clearance. This thing is starting to boil over so much that they cannot contain it. So what, like Sherry said, what are they going to end up doing? The plan is, and this has been known about since the Nazis, start what looks like a fake alien invasion.
Yes.
Yeah. I do believe the government have got something under their belt.
Yeah, they're going to say, "Oh my goodness, we're at war with each other. We're at war with Russia. We're at war with Ukraine. The world's falling apart. There's fighting here, fighting there. An alien race comes to the planet. Everybody unites. Every country unites to fight one common enemy, an invader. Right? Afterwards, they can have their one world government." Because let's face it, after a great war, there is going to be a lot of destruction. And a lot of countries are going to be destroyed.
Stability again and stuff, isn't there?
Yeah. It's actually quite frightening what's happening. But anyway, before we get to you, Sherry, Dakota, can we show that picture of the UFO that you captured? Because this is awesome.
Was captured within the last couple of weeks, literally just outside my house. I actually used it for the thumbnail for tonight's episode, for those of you on the video side. But here. Now,
Get that.
here's the interesting bit. We'll go ahead and flash the logo so we can draw people's attention to the part that's really interesting. All of these, this little triangle formation, we can confirm those are stars. This object up in the upper right-hand corner, though, that's something that can't be identified.
Yeah.
No flights were in that area. One theory that's been tossed my way that I didn't find out until later is that this night, around the time this photo was taken, there was actually a pretty bad house fire, not too far from it, and somebody was flying a drone to try to get the footage.
Yeah.
But the type of drone they would have had, I don't know.
I mean, I taken that footage. Dakota shared it with me, and I ran it through different filters, and I know Dakota ran it through different filters too, and there's just something not quite right about the one up in the top corner. I mean, it's weird. It looks weird. It doesn't look like a drone. There's just something about it. It's like a square shape, and it looks like there's something coming out the top, and then there's something going off to the side. It's one of the most weirdest things I've ever seen in my life. Sherry, what's your thoughts?
Definitely unusual. Like Dakota said, like the one, like Andrew, like the one in the top, definitely is that looks very unusual. Even just by the shape and the contrast of how it is, looks unusual. When I was looking at the other ones in the middle as well, I do feel that there are there's other objects.
Oh yeah,
there.
there's other ones.
You've got the one in the corner over here, and then you've got one there that looks like it's almost like a lit purpley colour. That looks quite unusual. When I'm looking at the picture, you can actually see weird shapes within the sky as well. Like it's not showing the light, but you can see shapes.
Yeah.
They are unusual, definitely. And because like Dakota said, that it checked into everything as well to make sure there was no aeroplanes or anything like that going over at that time. And obviously with the fire and everything going on, yeah, most definitely unusual and something of the strange, definitely.
Yeah, it definitely has something to change. What's that in the chat there? Russ Kellett or something?
That is the guy that I've just interviewed today.
We've got a video.
He's big on UFO stuff.
But we've got a video. We've got a video of that one in the desert, and it shows you a person sitting in their car, and they get out of their car, and you can see the surrounding areas. That's just a screenshot. We've got a video of it. I mean, will I bring up the video of it? Just give me 2 secs here, guys. Bring this up.
Well, but you make a very valid point. With that photo we just brought up, there's not really anything in the vicinity that can give you a rough idea of how big the thing is. So, it's up for debate on that one.
Yeah, no, I agree, Ross, definitely. But you can most definitely tell that they're unusual.
Give me 2 minutes.
With the fact that Dakota looked into everything to make sure there was nothing around at that time, it's definitely unusual. Yeah, it is hard to tell how big they are in that because of the way the picture is, but it's definitely unusual.
Let's see if I can find it in here. Let me show you this. I'll mute the mic on it because the guy's speaking Russian, so they're speaking Russian, so you'll not really understand them. It's not letting me load it. That's strange. See that? Dakota was letting me load it. It's not letting me share the screen.
You're using more bandwidth because we're live.
Very strange that. I know. So I'll try it again, share screen. I'll try a different one. I'll just try a window. It's maybe Do.
Has he froze? No, he's there.
Tell me if this comes up. Oh, no froze.
Yeah, it's coming up.
There we go.
There we go. This is better.
Oh, you just gotta love it. Everything goes to work just perfectly until the second you actually need it.
Right, this is obviously I can't see you guys, so right, here we go. You'll need to get a minute to load, guys. I mean, I'm on 100 meg per second. The thing's still slow.
Again, you're using more bandwidth because we're live.
It is doing it.
Well, I'll just let that go, the SIG, guys, because there you go. Yeah. Yeah. I'll play it one more time for you guys. Marsh area, see the... Did you see that?
Definitely
Everything's
strange.
very slow tonight. Yeah, it's very slow tonight, everything. But what did you think of that? I never noticed that before. You see how there's like pools of water, and it's not really desert, it's more kind of reedy. So that is obviously reflecting onto the water below it. Whatever it is. Or is it a container ship? Or is it some kind of ship away out to sea? That's the question. We'll never know. I'm going to research.
There could be a lot of reasons to what it is, but just by the shape of it, that it does look unusual. You don't see a ship that looks like it's. The lights almost look like they're going round, like you've got the front of an object or something.
That's what I'm thinking. So Sherry, would you like to show some of your stuff? I was told 15 minutes because we didn't know for everybody. So I've got like 15 minutes worth of content. And it's over that's perfect.
A sighting that was meant to have been caught over the White House in the USA.
Ooh,
and
right, this is going to be good.
It was from 1952. There wasn't very much information on it because it's not really out there. So obviously they've tried to keep things hid, but it's when the UFOs buzzed the White House. So in 1952, that was the year Americans caught flying saucer fever. So when a rash, strange sighting was reported in the skies over Washington, D.C. that summer, the press and the public demanded answers. Were these unexplained radar blips, crafts that in some courses outtrain jets, part of a nuclear-armed Soviet invasion, a very real threat at the highest of the Red Scare, or were they evidence of something far more mysterious? The Washington DC sighting of July, all of the sightings seem to be in July. Okay, Washington DC sightings of July 1952, also known as the Big Flap, hold a special place in the history of unidentified flying objects. Major American newspapers were reporting multiple credible sightings by civilian and military radar operators and pilots, so many that a special intelligence unit of the USA Air Force was sent to investigate what they found or did find, along with the Air Force's official explanation, fueled some of the earliest conspiracies and theories about the government's plot to hide evidence of alien life. UFO mania takes hold. It all started in 1947 when a search and rescue pilot named Kenneth Arnold reported 9 saucer-like things flying like geese in a diagonal chain link line at speeds exceeding up to 1,000 mph near Mount Rainier in Washington state. Within weeks, flying saucer sightings had been reported in 40 other states. In the name of national security, Air Force General Nathan Twing launched Project Sign, originally named Project Saucer. In 1948, the first official military intelligence program to collect information on UFO sightings, its investigators dismissed the vast majority as hoaxes or misidentifications of known aircrafts of natural phenomena. But as far as the cases unexplained, in 1952, the UFO Investigation Unit was called to Project Blue Book, led by Captain Edward Ruppelt at the Wright-Patterson's Air Force Base in Dayton, Ohio. Ruppelt and his team would probably have continued to investigate a couple of dozen sightings a month, if not for the April 1952 issue of Life magazine. Just above is the knockout cover shot of Marilyn Monroe, ran an equally eye-catching headline, "There is a case for interplanetary saucers." Read more inactive map using sites taken seriously by the USA government. The article, written with Ruppert's full correspondence, explained the Air Force's nationality secrets interest in the UFOs, and it made a convincing case. Through the colourful retelling of 10 unexplained UFO incidences, that these unidentified objects were extraterrestrial in origin. As one rocket scientist working on secret project for the USO told Life, "I am completely convinced that they have an out-of-world basis." According to the Washington Post, the number of UFO sightings reported to the Air Force jumped more than 6-fold from the 23rd of March to 1952 to 184 in June. By July, the press's conditions were in place for a wildfire of the UFO mania. Widespread Cold War anxiety, mainstream press coverage of unexplained UFO incidences, and a healthy dose of midsummer madness. All that was needed was a spark. There was a mysterious radio blip buzzing over the White House, and nearby Andrews Air Force based Raptor operators were getting the same unidentified blips, slow and clustered at first, then racing away at speeds exceeding 7,000 mph. Looking out his tower, window, one Andrews controller saw that he saw what he described as an orange ball of fire trailing a tail. A commercial pilot cruising over Virginia and Washington DC area reported 6 striking bright lights like flashing stars without tails. And that's what I got. So what they're saying is in Washington DC in 1952, this sighting was supposed to have been seen over the Washington DC. What had happened is that they were doing some research and evidence into all of the sightings and things that had been being put forward to them, and through doing this they come to see that there was some strange blip and some strange object that appeared on their radars, and this was seen in several places. So obviously them being them, they tried to look into what this was, but by the time they tried to catch what this object was, it had moved at a very rapid speed and went off of the radar. But this was heard and affected in Washington DC at the White House and in other areas, and at the same time as this incident was going on, there was many other sightings over the states that were being recorded around those times as well. And as I said, we were speaking behind the scenes before we come on, and we'd said that a lot of these UFO incidences and sightings always seem to happen around June, July time. There was a lot of the incidences that happen around that time. So is there a significant reason to why they show around that time? We don't know, but will we ever find out?
That is interesting you say that, because the UFO reports right now are off the scale. What's your thoughts on that, Dakota?
Trying to think.
I mean, I know there's a big comet going past right now. There was a planetary alignment no long ago. I mean, why would you come during this time of the year? What, if you were an extraterrestrial traveller for a different galaxy and you were coming here, why would you want to come here at this time of the year? It's not for the ice cream, obviously. Why would you want to come here at this time of the year? Is there something special about this time of the year to do with the sun?
Maybe it's a way of them being able to recall what we're about. Because if you think about it, in the summer, that's when it brings out the most in all of us, really, isn't it? Doing different things, different, objects and experiences and things we do. Maybe they find this time of year more particular because of a lot more is supposed to happen through the summer period, so they're going to be able to understand people's behaviour, people's intentions, things like that. It could be a lot of things. I see what you're saying there. They come in and watch us because we go to the beach and we go on holiday and we do more stuff outside. That's what I'm saying. Like in the winters and stuff like that, we're not really known to want to go out very much, are we? So they're not really going to see very much from us being inside. They're only going to see the basics apart from when they're visiting and if we're going. But in the summer, it's more of an open invite for us as humans to go out, enjoy it, and be our natural self. So I think this is a way of them working out who's genuine and who's not.
Here's a thought. What happens if it's more to do with extreme weather? I mean, I've heard that a lot of UFOs have been seen in thunderstorms.
Maybe up there they have experiences up there around that time that's not good for them, so they visit here to be out of the way. It could be something going on in their plane at that time, so they come here. It could be a lot of reasons.
It's a strange one, though. Why would you come in these times in July? Around about this time, you would be seen more. Anybody in the chat would like to add to this. Why do you think, guys in the chat, the extraterrestrials would like to visit us more in the summertime rather than the wintertime? Yes, we've got longer days. Right? Yes, it's warmer in some parts. But I was watching a thing last night and it's about the UFOs using the energy for thunderstorms.
That could be another reason. It could be that that the source of energy that comes around in someone might be good for their their crafts and stuff. It can be a lot of reasons. It's really baffling because you can't fully know everything about them, like only what they show you and that. So things like this do baffle, but it is true when you look at a lot of the sightings and the reports, a lot of them are around June, July time and onwards. That case you were talking about is very interesting because during that, I mean, didn't they have the drone technology in that time, or did they? Did the government have drone technology in that time? Well, they're explaining there that they had certain things where they were able to pick up on this and these objects being in the sky and that. So they must have had some form of technology, probably not like today, but they would have had technology. And obviously, being the government, they're going to be a lot more further forward than what we are as the race here. You know what I mean? So they probably have got technology and things that we weren't aware of and stuff. And I found that case really interesting because, it does only give you a brief description about what happened with the White House, but it gives a very clear description that at the time of this big event, there were other events going on around other states at the same time.
Right, 1952. That's the beginning, really, of the atomic age. I know 1945, 1947.
But back then, they wouldn't have had very much equipment and things like you're saying, Chris. So it is very interesting that they could be so educated and was looking into it.
1952, though, they did develop jet fighters. That's when they were developing their U-2 spy planes, their jet fighters. But 1952, there's something special about that date. I mean, they didn't have drones. They didn't have the technology that we have today.
No, that's what I'm saying. There's none of the technology that we have today that get accused of being some of these sightings. Back then, it was more prominent that if it was a sighting, it was a sighting because there wasn't really anything there to distort it. You know what I mean? But sadly, back then, there weren't really very much video and photo evidence. It was reports, and whatever evidence was gotten was hid. Mm-hmm. So it was never put out. You know what I mean? So I just found that really interesting. That's why
it's a very good story. Well done, Sherry. That was brilliant. That was really.
I'd have done longer because if I knew that like Chad and Linda wasn't going to be here because of their problems, bless them, I'd have done a little bit longer. But because I thought all of us were here, I thought 15 minutes of time because that's what you said. So I cut it down to what I could get.
Dakota, what's your thoughts?
The UFO over the White House, it was an interesting enough case to actually get Dan Aykroyd in on UFOs. You have to remember Roswell happened in 1947. There was the Black Forest crash a year before that in Germany. That would have given enough time for us to reverse engineer any technology we managed to find, as well as knowing how the governments work, be able to negotiate the return of the surviving occupants in exchange for technology and get the conversations going in order to build interplanetary alliances, pacts, whatever you want to call them. That would have been the great start. That Kenneth Arnold you mentioned, he actually happened to run a shop out of just 2 hours from me when that happened.
Mm-hmm.
As far as them coming out in July, Sherry does have to make a very valid point. Here in the Northern Hemisphere, it starts getting warmer. That's the best time to be spotting us. If they're trying to observe us for any historical record, as some of the research shows, if they're wanting any abductions, that's the best way to know what we're like, if we get into any specific situation. It's recommended anytime you go to travel someplace, the best time to hit a location would be right around times of major festivals. That's how you can tell what the culture is really about, type of thing.
Yeah.
That's what I believe they're doing. I believe that's what they're doing. They don't come in the winters and things like that. They do visit, but they're not so known to be sighted as much in the winters and that. And that's because it's cold and it's meant to be groggy, and we're not really going to be out being who we're supposed to be, are we? But in the summer, we do. So they can learn more about our characters and how they can come around us in the summer.
I see what you're saying. Yeah. I agree with you 100% because
Yeah.
I was just thinking. You think about all the people that go out camping.
Not
And all
just
the
that,
people-
but you
yeah,
think like in the summer, the amount of spiritual people that walk around in woods
Yeah.
and start connecting to things. I think that it's an ideal time for them because of that, because we go to different places, we visit different places, we're in different forms in the summer, we're in a good mood, we want to do good things. But also, we can relate to our spiritualities more in the summer, I feel. Like I obviously connect with my spirituality all year round, but in the summer is my best time to actually connect fully, like be out in it. So this would be an ideal time for them to be like,
Yeah.
Zap! You know, like,
Oh, yeah. Come
do
along and
me,
zap
sort
away.
of thing. Whatever they're doing.
It's like cattle mutilations. It's
Yeah.
more is it more that would you say, Dakota, it was more in the summertime that cattle would be took?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. They'd be found with their blood drained out them and perfectly cut incisions, which is strange. It's something we should actually get someone to come on one night and talk about cattle mutilations. I'm going to hunt tonight, see if I can find a guest for that actually, because that would be very interesting.
Make sure the guest is alive.
What's that?
I think
Make sure the guest is
next
alive, Chris.
There's a guest in the live.
What?
I can't hear you. You keep breaking up for me. What?
I said make sure the guest is actually alive.
Don't you worry. I'll not be doing any weird voodoo ceremonies to bring him beyond the grave. You know, I'll make sure he's alive, or she's alive. I find it very interesting. In 1952, that's when the UFO sightings went off the scale. But that's when also the TV programs had so much UFO related films. You know, black and white films. Yeah. The day the Earth stood still, the alien attacking movies in black and white.
But it's like what we've always said, isn't it? When they do those sort of films and stuff, like even though like they try to make us believe that they're not real and like you know it's in our mind and stuff like that, why do they then make those sort of films? Where do those visions and those intentions come from? You know, some of them have had experiences, and I have noticed like recently that some of these producers and people have actually come out saying that they've actually had experiences and that's why they've done what they've done. But back in that day, they wouldn't have said that because they'd have been discriminated because of it. So, you know, today's life, it's more accepted. I'm not saying fully, but it is more accepted. So people are becoming more eager to reach out now, I think, back compared to, you know, 1952.
Yeah, it's like Dakota was telling me the other day, a lot of the extraterrestrials that visit us, that are around us, are actually real. See the ones that's been in movies? They're similar.
Yeah.
They're similar.
Yeah, some of them are. And that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like, I do think that, like, they make out that it's science fiction and it's not real and that, but I do believe some of these films are based on real encounters and real things that people have experienced. I do.
I mean, what was that one, Dakota, you told us about the Independence Day, the live we did about the Independence Day? Those aliens actually exist. And people will be like, no.
Was that the one that was in that book?
It was in one.
Elaine.
Aliens.
There's two different species that kind of got blended together for Independence Day, but yeah.
Yeah.
And those ones are said to be some of the most ferocious. Interesting thing about those is that believed in the 1980s, they've actually abducted several people and basically made them sleeper agents. For what purpose? Nobody knows. Everybody's too afraid to try to confront them because of the weapons they have.
Yeah.
You know? It's what's the other aliens that's there? Was it no Predator? Is Predator not meant to be a real alien? There's one that looks like Predator, but it's no as dangerous. We'll need to get Elena back on to talk about this, because Elena's an amazing person. I mean, it's not just that. I'm fascinated with the Greys.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I mean,
I am as well from that experience and stuff. Like, as we all say, there's good and bad in everything. Not all of the great aliens are bad and dangerous. There are good ones as well. You know what I mean? And this is where you need to learn the line and obviously do it safely as well. And as we all keep saying, you know, like we understand you've all got your beliefs and you all follow things a different way. But when we say that they are out there, they are really out there. They definitely are out there.
Of course they're out there. And you'll notice now that TV news networks takes this seriously. Before they used to take the absolute
They've got no choice.
Yeah,
they've got no choice to, because you think like you've got all these people coming out with the stories that they've had experiences. You've even got the sightings themselves happening on a regular basis. There is no way of hiding that anymore. You know what I mean? It's becoming more frequent. So what sort of course have they really got? They have to they have to bring it out. They can't hide it anymore. So
I think in the next 6 months from now, I think something big is going to get released, because they can't keep it locked up much longer. Everybody's got a cell phone now. Everybody's got a camera. But then that's the problem too. You'll see there's so much fake stuff in the internet with UFOs. But then there's so much real stuff with UFOs. And then the real stuff looks really good. The people will be like, oh, that's CGI. I mean, it's a
vicious circle, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
You get really good evidence, they'll contradict you, they'll say it's not real, blah, blah, blah. But it doesn't help that there's people that do fake it out there. But I do believe that more people should be looking towards the sky and doing the real thing. Get your camera out, your video recorder, and just... sit it there, see what you get.
I think it's going to take, a mass amount of UFOs to appear. Above every city, before people go, oh, it's real. Look, there's aliens.
Yeah, and like to that extent, we don't know. We don't know if that is going to happen to that extent. You know, we know that there will be a revealing at some point. How that's going to be and who and why, we don't know. But we know that they are going to come in some way, you know what I mean? But
I think the government's going to pull the fake alien invasion first.
Yeah.
They're going to do it. Let's face it, they've got their own ships. They've got their secret space program.
There'll be something that happens down here that's not real, that's gonna make them come out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's the last card.
I'm not saying that means we're going to have a sky full of UFOs and we're all like the films that you see. I don't believe it's going to be like that, but they are most definitely going to show themselves, and they're most definitely going to make themselves be known and stuff. But you've got to watch and take notice to realise it, because if you don't, you're going to miss it. You know, so...
Yes, I mean, you just need to sit in the back garden or go up a walk at night and you look at the star system. I've met people. I met someone the other day there. Oh, there's no such thing as aliens. There's no life in any other planet. There's trillions and trillions of planets out there, right? And for someone to say that we are the only intelligent life form that has ever existed,
how can we be the only life form with such a massive universe and such a massive place? How can we be the only life form? The fact is, we're not.
If you to take every sand particle on Earth and count it, there's more galaxies in the universe than any sand particle on Earth. And wrap your heads around that. And then people don't know what's after. People don't know what's after the universe. There could be another universe. That's the thing. We're sat in the chat there. Hey, knowledge within.
Hello, knowledge. Hello, Alicia and everyone as well. It's really good to see you all.
Who's that? Smith family paranormal.
Smith's in there as well. Hello, darlings. Hope you're all right.
Yeah, it's the world is changing. And I wouldn't say for the better. Well, it's no changing for the better. I don't think it is. I think we're in a very violent time in the human race.
Change is coming. Like when people say the world's ending, it's not ending in the way that you think, like it's going to blow up and it's going to do this and do that. It's not. The world is changing and ending in a way that we're in a life now that is no longer going to be this way. It's going to change due to situations, problems, and things going on in this climate, isn't it? So it's not the world's ending in the way that none of us are going to exist anymore. Yes, some people may be affected, things may happen, but our way of life, the way that we live now, is going to change. It is, and it already is doing that. So
what's the link you just posted there, Dakota? I just clicked on it really quickly to have a
Twitter.com status.
Russian cosmonaut just released footage of UFOs over the Southern Lights.
Really? I need to watch this.
The time lapse, about between 9 seconds and 12 seconds in. I was trying to get a decent shot so that we can pull it up on here.
Let me see what I can do.
But, you know, guys, like, if you're really into the ufology and you're really into all this and you really want to bring a way of showing that they're real and that, start sitting out in your garden, start going out to your little quiet places, take cameras and stuff with you, video, you know, see what you can catch. You never know what you're going to catch on there. So it's always worth a try. And if you get anything, bring it over to us, guys.
That's an interesting video, guys. Click on that link and have a look at that, guys.
Let me have a look. I'm going to mute because in case the sound...
Yeah.
There's no sound.
That's... Is it? What's that right at the very bottom? Is that, it looks like a big ship.
That's the Earth.
So that's obviously the
From
light on.
The time-lapse video from a satellite, yeah. Real view time would have been about 52 seconds when those objects showed up. This literally just came to my attention as we were on the air.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, something's coming out the top of it.
It shows up for a few seconds.
Wow. Whoa.
Those are the Southern Lights.
Yeah.
That's stunning. Look at that. That is...
Oh, yeah.
You can see these objects, though. They're moving in the sky and they're flashing, and they're going down behind the Earth. There's loads of them. They're like falling, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, this was apparently posted August 2020.
Look at them lights going over it.
Mm-hmm.
That's absolutely spectacular, ladies and gentlemen. Guys, in the podcast site, please check any links below. Will the links be there, Dakota, or will they be on the Bald and Bonkers website?
That's how I clicked on it. I'll paste it and stick it on the Bald and Bonker bit as well.
Knowledge within there is Lewis. Lewis, check that link out. I think you'll like that.
How are you all doing? We're fine, thank you. Check that link out, Knowledge. You'll find that really interesting. Guys, click the link, okay? Because you see the top of the Earth, and you can see the green light that goes over the top, and then you can see all of these objects coming down, and you see this huge object go over it. That is phenomenal.
That is, I think something's going to happen real soon. Do you know that? I think something's
definitely coming. Something's definitely coming. How that's going to be, we'll find out, I'm sure. But there is, definitely something coming.
That's actually I wonder if we can get the Russian cosmonaut to come on. Maybe no the news, especially with the troubles we've got. But oh man, that's. But see, have you ever noticed with the Russians? The Russians have always in the past come out and said that aliens are real.
Oh yeah.
They've never denied it.
They won't want to be all over that.
Yeah.
Whoever breaks the news, there's life out of Earth. Whoever breaks the news about there being life after death, those are the biggest discoveries that would completely change the course of human history.
Yeah.
To be able to claim the credit for finding that? Ooh.
That's...
You'd be one hell of a rich person, put it that way.
Oh, yeah.
I found that interesting last night. You were telling me, Dakota, about the Chinese claiming the moon.
That was Lisa that brought it to our attention. They're trying to. They're trying to.
That'll be interesting.
They're trying to, but the thing is, the moon doesn't belong to anybody. It doesn't belong to anybody down here. The moon is part of the universe. It don't belong to no one. So
look at this.
Screenshot from that video I just posted that shows about the.
Oh, look at that.
That's show up.
That is amazing.
Yeah,
that's.
And they're not all stars, guys. Believe me. Like, a lot of people say, "Oh, it's a star. It's this. It's that." No, you can see that there are some.
You're going to have them that listen to this and watch this. The flat earthers are going to be sitting there saying, "That's the dome. That's them. They're up there. They're now changing the light bulbs that makes the sun come up."
I do agree with that, Smith family. The way that this world's been at the minute, there won't be a clear space to go and look up for things like this. But that's why you make the most of it now, while you can.
I will say this: the governments of the world, and they've been very, very busy lately spraying. You know what, up and above. Because if I say what it's called, you know, they've been spraying out there. But have you noticed that, Dakota, that the blue skies aren't as blue anymore? They're more like hazy white. Have you noticed, Jerry?
Yeah, the skies have definitely changed colour. Even like when like the sun comes up in the morning and the moon goes down, like the sun goes down in the evening and the moon comes up, there's some very unusual colouring. Definitely.
Oh, yeah. That's all the particles. That's all the aluminum and.
Hello, truth unknown, and everybody.
That's what they're spraying in the atmosphere. So next Friday's going to be an interesting show for you, isn't it, Sherry?
Oh, it is. Next Friday, I am going to be having an interview with our amazing Mike from The Naked Bigfoot, which I am really, really excited about. I've been pestering him for ages, and lovely Chris there was able to get him to come over onto my show. So don't miss the show on Friday at 9:30 p.m. UK time, guys. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah. And Mike was also on. I'm going to plug Dave Schrader's Darkness Radio at 60 Minutes. Yep. Mike was on there 2 weeks ago, and what a live it was! What an interview! And honestly, guys, you need to go and check it out.
That was an amazing interview. Mike's an amazing man, guys. So don't miss it. He's really cool. Yeah.
So, Dakota, do you have any news you want to share with us all, or strange things that you want to tell us?
No, not yet.
Not yet? My God, there's no news tonight, ladies and gentlemen. There's no news.
He has got something, it's just not revealing it.
I see that, Sam. I'll wait for the pride moment.
Here's the thing. If I go to reveal it, these are people that are notorious for killing people that reveal things. So
I think you could let a wee secret out just to keep people in the chat, you know, interested until next week.
I don't think I should, man.
Are we by it? Just a wee.
Really, it's Chris that wants to know.
That's me that wants to know.
Just a little bit, just a tiny snibber.
I guess I could probably tell a little something. The surprise that we have coming